In this video, I want to cover World Eternal Online. World Eternal Online is a new sandbox MMO with a player-driven economy and blockchain integration. So essentially, the game is kind of like a Dota / League of Legends style gameplay style, but with a fully persistent, kind of completely online MMO style as well, right? The first thing I noticed about this project is that it's been in development for over 2 years. So they've been building this for a while. A lot of people started building last year when this whole crypto game craze happened and the bull run happened. These guys have been building for a solid couple of years. They've seen this coming before Axie blew up, before crypto gaming became this huge thing. So let's talk about their team really quick, because as you can see, this game is pretty impressive. They have a ton of gameplay footage. They even have gameplay trailers. This game's already fully in development mode, right? This is not something that's being basically years away from release. They're actually hopefully will be in beta by early next year at the rate they're building this. So the team behind this is Core Loop, and Core Loop is basically a bunch of veterans from gaming studios like Machine Zone, GRE, Relic, Crystal Dynamics, etc. So they have around, I believe, 25 full-time people from what I've heard, and their CEO is Vincenzo Alagna. So Vincenzo has been working in the game industry for 20 plus years, and he was the director of engineering at GREE, and then he moved to Machine Zone, where he was the president and CTO and oversaw multi-billion-dollar franchises such as Game of War, Mobile Strike, and Final Fantasy XV: A New Empire. And Dan Chow has been working in the game industry for 20 plus years as an engineer, game designer, and producer across PC, mobile, and console. He was the lead game designer at Funzio. He's led the design on games like Crime City, Modern War, and War of Nations. Now on their LinkedIn, you can see that they have around 18 people that are on LinkedIn. Obviously, there are probably a few people who haven't added themselves on there, etc. But there's some really impressive people on there. You can basically go click on their LinkedIns and see who they are, what they're building, etc. So they have a decent team, even though it is fairly small, but they're a talented team that's obviously building really, really fast. Now let's quickly talk about the investors in the project, because they have some truly impressive investors, right? So one of their investors is A16Z, obviously Anderson Horowitz, the famous VC firm that just made bet after bet that's worked out really well. There's Galaxy Interactive, there's Initial Capital, Dune obviously is a well-known name, Sisu, and One Up Ventures. So they do have some great investors backing them in this project. Now let's talk about their game mechanics, right? So obviously they do have a trailer that you can go check out on their YouTube channel. As you can see, the game's pretty far along. Basically, the graphics look pretty good for an MMO. It's like a top-down League of Legends or Dota style, and there's a lot of combat involved, right? So some of the game dynamics include a combat system, there's a crafting system. So the three main types of players are basically adventurers who go out there, fight these monsters, complete quests. There's crafters who really take the raw material that a lot of these adventurers will collect and turn them into items and material to use. And then there's land barons, who are basically, they manage the towns, right? So there's like in-game town system. And essentially the land barons, they don't just get to squat on the land and make money for no reason. They actually have to manage it. They have to upgrade the town. They have to make it an attractive kind of place, right? So I like the fact that they're thinking about how to set up land in a way that's sustainable. Now, I do know, based on talking to this team, that they're very aware and very skeptical of the traditional land system and how it just incentivizes kind of squatting and laziness. And let's be honest, even in real life, land and real estate is one of those things where it leads to a lot of inefficiency, right? So I think the team does recognize that. Now, basically the main playable characters in this game are the heroes. So heroes are essentially, basically there's a large variation of them. And they're very well aware that in a lot of these games, breeding has led to an over-proliferation of like heroes, like Axie had that issue. So they have built out the system with Hero Ascension where they can kind of control the supply of these. So there's a sustainable economy. There is also a guild system, so any player that owns a guild medallion, and players can band together to conquer content together, and basically they really want to encourage cooperation with this game. They also want to do some hero lending mechanisms, so that could be interesting as well. And like I mentioned, they have this whole town system. So basically, players need to visit towns to access crafters that are stationed in there. So there's only a finite number of towns, land deeds. Basically, players with land deeds can claim an empty town, and these are land barons. And the land barons have essentially earned revenue from renting out these plots, but they also need to upgrade their land, right? So this sounds like a fun gameplay mechanism, but really it sounds like they're also thinking about how to make sure that these land barons are adding value to the game instead of just extracting value, right? Now with this game, they have kind of as of this point, they don't have their final token systems figured out, but they have this kind of system where essentially there's certain things that are going to burn tokens, certain things that you can use to earn tokens. So for example, you will get tokens from the treasury as an adventurer for completing quests, for raiding bosses, for doing different kind of things in the game. And then you'll use those tokens to ascend your heroes and purchase new heroes. Now obviously between the hero adventures and crafters, you're paying for crafting services, and then obviously crafters can pay for recipes and upgrade mats, so these adventurers can go find a recipe and sell it to a crafter. So there's that back and forth economy going. And then same thing with the crafters, where there's this whole system where they can also pay the treasury to upgrade their buildings, upgrade their the recipes and so on. And then the crafters can also pay to rent building plots from land barons, and then they obviously earn from these heroes by charging them for crafting. With the land barons, they're earning the token by renting out the building plots, but they also have to pay for upgrading the city, for working with guilds and empowering guilds, and also upgrading their plots and so on. So they have an in-game system. Now obviously the main thing with a blockchain game is how to make this sustainable, because if everybody's selling the token because they're earning it in-game and selling it, it just leads to a downward spiral. So I think what they're going for here, and the vibe I'm getting, is they're gonna view this basically hero adventurer as people who are playing for fun, and they're not really going to market to these people with such a focus on play to earn. While I think for land barons and crafters, those are the more economically minded games. So if you look at their website right over here, they're really, the blockchain integration, the play to earn is very minimal in terms of how they're branding it into their latest assets, right? Yeah, they do have this whole earn while playing here, but it's not like other games with the main thing is, hey, play to earn. This is really focused on building a sustainable player-driven economy. And I've chatted to the team, and they have acknowledged the truth that, basically with a lot of these blockchain games, there's a lot of Ponzi-nomics. You need new players to constantly come in. There's really no token balance of token sinks and token supply, token faucets. So there's always a selling pressure on the token, because everybody's trying to earn the in-game token and then liquidate it to earn Ethereum or USDC or whatever token that they want to take out of the ecosystem. So they are aware of that. I think they are trying to figure out, how do you build an ecosystem where the token grows in value, where there's enough demand for actually fun, and where enough people are putting in more than they're taking out. So we'll be curious to see how that goes. But overall, I'm pretty bullish on these guys. They do have a pre-sale coming out soon. So if you get on their Discord, you can probably be involved in their pre-sale and be able to get one of those first generation zero heroes. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. So guys, definitely join their Discord, check out their website. I think these guys are a promising project. They know that, with blockchain gaming, there's a lot of issues. They're really trying to figure it out, and they have the team to pull it off. They've been building for over 2 years. 2 things I like about them, or 3 things I like about them. Number 1, experienced team. Number 2, they've been building before a lot of these other blockchain gaming companies. And number 3, they're very well aware that the typical Ponzi-nomics kind of system that a lot of these blockchain games have won't work anymore. So I'm very bullish on them. And guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. And also, I'd like to shout out basically Wolfsdow for really great gaming research, really great info on the gaming space in general. So go check them out. So Wolfsdow on Twitter, they put out some incredible content, especially on tokens and so on. So go check them out if you're interested in crypto gaming. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.